Hey there, Leo. This is Seven Scorpion Tarot, and I want to welcome you to tonight's reading. So, I was looking for what planets are in your sign today in the celestial forecast, and there are none. So, this is going to be a total wild card reading. Um, and I've been talking about some heavy, heavy topics on this channel recently. So, maybe what we can get into to lighten things up, maybe some areas to look at in ourselves, to, I don't know, bring some levity to the situation, like take that comedian archetype aspect to that, laugh at the king. um is there anything in ourselves that we're just taking a bit too seriously? So let's get into a self, shadow, and ego. And we'll just kind of go from there and see what's up, see where we land. That doesn't give me much to jump off from, which is all right. Things are a bit heavy right now. A card for the self. Let's see. Something, ooh, or maybe something like, since I've been getting into heavy stuff, something we need to just offload, like put on the shelf or put to rest, maybe. Um, whether temporarily or indefinitely. That's up to you and what situation you're in. Seven of Spears. Okay. So maybe not holding your position so fervently. Not to say like you don't have to fold on your boundaries, but do you need to go in there like Grey Worm? And this is the Game of Thrones tarot. Because he's really going for him. He's not messing around. Uh, and it's definitely understandable to want to defend your position, especially if it's been a hard fought position. Um, I just heard another reader mention this quote. Oh, it's a Buddhist quote. If you, er, it's about anger. Hang on, processing. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. There we go. Maybe it's something like that. That we're living in anger. Uh, Not to say your anger isn't valid, because I feel that on a deep, deep spiritual level when people are trying to get me to dismiss or, blow off my anger of like, anger seems so accepted for men, but then when I do it, it's like, oh no, like we can't let the woman be angry. Um, or it's like dismissed very rudely to some like biological function. Um, and like, are you drinking poison? Like, the ways in which you're expressing anger and how you're engaging with it, is it healthy? Is it beneficial? Because ignoring it completely is not. Just like brushing it under the rug, that's not healthy. Living there isn't healthy either. Like trying to find that middle ground. And when it's, we've got the six spears coming up from the bottom and the seventh coming down. When it's six against one, it may be better to just walk away. Your ego, your pride may be telling you to like hold firm. If that is what's needed for the situation, like go ahead and do that. But also, and ask yourself if that is what is truly healthy for you to dig your heels in or exit. Just like for your own well being to let the nervous system cool off. I'll start shuffling for the shadow to see maybe the nature of the wound behind this conflict. Maybe what we're holding our position over. Because there are some instances when it comes to like interpersonal relationships and whatnot. No matter how right you are, how much evidence you have, you can be explaining it to them until you're blue in the face that what they did to you was wrong. They may never see it that way, which is unfortunate. And if you're in a situation like that, it really is very likely in your best interest to just walk away. So, King of Coins, Master of Materials in the Shadow, Financial Wound. Okay, so I'm getting employer from this. Um, are you in a situation where you're not being appreciated or you're not being paid appropriately, not being paid what you earned? Um, and is that wound being agitated? Because I know that can be really difficult. Where you see it's happened to me, seeing the people around you that dominate the demographics on your team, which are not women, um, they get rewarded, they get their full pay, and you get excuses. You get mobile goalposts, um, and you get broken promises that you're left to fix. That hurts. That hurts a lot, and it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not okay. It's really just gross. Um, and maybe there's something coming up from the shadow of maybe something new is coming up that is being like this wound is being carried into a new situation that's making like you're more what word am I looking for? My brain buffers on word selection. Um like hair trigger temper. Like just ready to fight like really fast. Um that may not be appropriate for the new situation. Like it's good to learn the lesson, of course, from the previous situation, but that can damage a new situation. It's kind of like carrying wounds into like trust wounds into a new romantic relationship, which I get. Like trust issues are a symptom of the disorder I have. Like I totally get it. Um, and but that could hurt your new opportunities because the predecessor to the seven of spears is the sixth. That's the card of victory. So are you damaging a victory because of an old wound that still needs to be processed? Hmm. This is a good opportunity for journaling, where journaling would come in to like dig in of like when you're writing about something, what makes you like defensive? Like, what do you have the strongest reaction to of what you're journaling about? That's where the wound is. And engaging with that just openly, non judgmentally, can really help facilitate that healing process of I see you, I hear you, let me find whatever balm is appropriate. Like actually addressing the wound in that manner, like giving it a voice. I'll start shuffling for the ego. But if you don't give the wound a voice, it's going to keep yelling at you. And it's just going to get louder and louder and louder until it gets heard. And that can manifest in a number of ways because your subconscious doesn't talk to you the way like we would converse with one another. It manifests through dreams, through unhealthy patterns starting to reemerge, like overeating, chain smoking. Uh, Maybe you typically are a moderate drinker and then it starts to tick up. My thing is caffeine. That, like, I know I'm stressed when it suddenly dawns on me that my caffeine intake is doubled. I'm like, oh, why am I having a problem sleeping? Is it because I'm drinking the maximum amount of caffeine, like the recommended allotment for a healthy daily amount with trauma brain? Might be it, maybe. Might have some kind of effect on me. Uh, and like the first place I'll notice that is like my sleep will start to get wonky. And as soon as I like wean back down to like half of what I was consuming, my sleep levels out. I'm like, okay, yeah, I am the problem. Right. Right. Forgot about that. I don't have a problem. I am the problem. And it's important to know your weak spots so you know where to look. And caffeine is a recurring one for me. Just like not eating breakfast is a recurring one for me. Like those are the first places I need to look. Like, are these behaviors within the healthy margins? Because if I'm having trouble sleeping, typically those are not. Three of coins. Ooh, and three of swords. 3-3 in the ego. Interesting. So heartbreak around community, or you can have hopefully community supporting you through heartbreak. This could be more of that, like the old wounding. Um, that old wounding could infiltrate the new community because it was behind, like the Three of Swords was behind the Three of Coins. Um, oh, coins. Well, I mean, teamwork, but like the three, back up, rewind. Um, so the community card is the Three of Cups, and that's like where my mind went. I didn't go to Three of Pentacles. But this, it could still be infiltrating something new. Like we were going with the job reference. Like if you're moving on to greener pastures, um, which congrats if you are. Like, um, hopefully that's a good move. It's a preferred one. Uh, but if this wounding, if these swords haven't been pulled out of your heart, the wound can't close. So if at all possible, which I know it isn't always, uh, take some time. in between opportunities. Anytime that I've switched spots, I do not. Like I'll leave on a Friday and I start on a Monday, uh, which is just a matter of necessity for me. And it would be really, really nice if and when, the next transition comes up for me, that I'd be able to take like a week or two off in between things. But we'll see. We shall see if and when that time comes. So I still got lots to do where I'm at. I'm gonna be there for a minute. I mean, unless I become, world's best tarot reader. I expect a mug. Or if there's some eccentric rich person that needs a personal psychic, that can foot my salary, that'll work too. One can dream, a girl can dream, right? You know, this is the Lunar Nomad Oracle. There'll be some underlying energy. Ooh, mountain. And like this Three of Coins scene from the show from Game of Thrones, the mountain was there helping them build this structure, or at least it didn't have stained glass in the show. Um, hmm, 21. So three. So 333. Huh. Maybe that is important to you. And this looks very like Da Vinci, like somebody needed a protractor to make those. And this almost looked like a net to me when it came out. And mountains are, immovable. I mean, they eventually move over a really, really, really long time, but when they do, there's an earthquake. So this is something foundational. Maybe this is a fundamental wound when it comes to finances. I've had a lot of that in my life. I've got a lot of poor people habits that are not great, that have carried on even when um, some of my budget has freed up. Like, there's a really good article on, of all places, like it was cracked.com. If anybody else remembers that website from the before times, um, I don't know if they're actively publishing anything on there anymore, but somebody wrote something very poignant about like the cost of poverty. And it's like when you get some sort of chunk of change, like your tax return or something, um, you immediately go through it because you're so used to being poor that you don't know when that money's going to leave. So you spend it before it can. And then there's all sorts of other small ways that not having savings, not, having more than paycheck to paycheck hurts you. Like not being able to buy in bulk for things that aren't perishable, that cost you money. Um, Actually, with household goods, that's quite the pitfall for cost. Uh, Putting things off, like going to the doctor. Like if something doesn't hurt more than my deductible, I don't deal with it because America. Um, and like buying cheap shoes, buying a cheap mattress. Like you can't buy a new back, you know? And but if you have a complete garbage mattress and you can afford something for like 500 bucks, but you can't afford like the Tempur-Pedic whatever, however expensive those are, you're going to go with the 500 because that's better than nothing, but that's still not good for your back. And it's just all these little ways that how expensive it is to be poor. And so maybe there's something fundamental like on that, like when tectonic plates shift, like earthquakes happen. There's something big under there, that you might need to let go of, maybe so that earthquake doesn't happen in whatever new space that you might be about to enter. Hmm. Let's get a card here. Maybe there's a song that can like bring this together. Message in the lyrics or something. Oh, oh, an activity, lava shower. That definitely, I mean, I was talking about back pain, so that might that might be why that came out. Um, I'm gonna see if I can get a song too. But um, I turn up the hot water just all the way, and I cook my back because my back hurts. I've had the same mattress for 6 years now. I think 6 years. It was like 300 bucks. Um, it is what it is, you know. But I like to add little like the shower bombs to the lava showers. They're just little like scented discs, like little pucks that you put at the bottom of the shower. Um, and they come in all sorts of different scents. Like I have rose ones right now, but since it is winter, I need to get some like eucalyptus, something to clear out the sinuses, because it's about that time. And then I think Vicks makes those too for when you're like sick. There's lavender ones too. Ooh, okay. Two songs: "Take Me Back to Eden" and "Scarlet Cross" by Black Veil Brides. Both really good ones. Actually, I really like the music videos for both of these. I'm trying to think of how the lyrics connect, because this could be. Oh, he's got a line in here about like, oh, brain, hang on, buffering. "I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my pay stub." Yeah, so maybe that has something to do with like the material nature of this reading. And Scarlet Cross is, I mean, that's like persecution wound, like the Scarlet Letter. So, do you feel persecuted about not being able to afford stuff? Like, do you have you had to cancel on so many plans that maybe you're not getting invited anymore? Like, I know that I've gone through like phases like that, like where I'm making excuses because I just couldn't afford to go. And I didn't want to, like, I didn't want anybody to pay for me. And, like, I don't know, the way I see things or the way I do things, I guess, is like I go if I can pay for myself, and if somebody offers, cool. But I don't want to go with the expectation that someone else is going to pay for me. Like, if it's for my birthday or something, like my freaking birthday, like, yeah. But just on like an average day, like, I only go if I can pay for myself. And I don't know. I think there's some stuff around that because I'm like closer to 40 than I'm not, and I'm like, oh my God, I've been in my career field for like 10 years. I've got a degree and whatnot, and I'm still like, ends aren't meeting. Like, how is this happening? Like the plight of the American worker, it kind of is what it is. But hopefully there's maybe something to reflect, to lift some weight off the spirit a bit. Um, because the financial stuff can really, really weigh you down. Uh, if your needs aren't being met, heck, even if all your needs are being wet, needs are being wet, whatever. Maybe you need plants. I don't know. Plants are good for the soul. But if all your needs are being met and your wants are not, that's still super draining. Like, we're not robots, we're humans. We're not meant to be doing things on this like capitalist hamster wheel. We're meant to be eating fruit and cheese by the ocean. Like, I don't know. But I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.